The following is a special presentation of Pirate Flag Radio and Mike Vanek Sucks. We got a special guest today. Enjoy the show. Come on, fucker. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all goddamn ages, my name is Mike Vanek and I suck. And joining me today on Sounds from the Underground, the man, the myth, the legend, the drummer, the guy, the pot smoking fool, Mr. Nick Souza from Hatred is joining us once again on Sounds from the Underground.
Woo!
What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, Mike? Thanks for having me again, man. It's a fucking pleasure to be back on. What am I? Is this 3 times now? Is this triple
Five.
crown? Five. Damn. 5 time. 5 time. 5 time. 5 time. Sounds of the Underground guest. Here we go, baby.
Yeah,
cheers to that, right?
I've done this with you 3 times, and then we've done it a couple times with Lunchbox.
Okay, it was a little okay. All right, that's 5 times entirety. So
yeah,
between NWA, WCW, WWF, we got 5 belts. But just in ECW, I got 3 titles.
Yeah,
okay.
Something like that. For those of you that follow the wrestling etiquette, what's going on, man? How are things?
Dude, great, man. We've been for those that haven't seen, we've been kind of a little busy keeping under the wraps lately. We've been playing around the local market around California, but for those that don't know, we just kind of got out of the studio, and we haven't really come out and publicly said that yet, but yeah, we've been in the studio and we have some songs coming out here pretty soon. So keep your fucking eyes peeled. We've been really busy with that as far as getting the artwork and producing and the right song structure and everybody involved, right production, the right people who are going to market this for us. We have some great people on our team this time around, so looking forward to that. Can't really say what the song titles are yet or anything about that too much, but you guys will be seeing stuff pretty soon. Some album artwork, some single teaser kind of stuff released here pretty soon, and then keep your eyes peeled or ears peeled for a tour that should be announced here pretty soon as well. We may or may not be going back on the road. So
this time around, did you guys go back to Trident with one, or did you do something different?
We did. We went back to Trident with one. Ultimately, we just kept it in the family. Can't really talk too much about specifics why. I can later. And I give you more information than I do most, Vanek, but there's just certain things I just can't talk about right now because it needs to happen. So other than that, I'm excited for the new music. It's killer. It's the next level shit. And I'm not just saying that because it's my own shit, but yeah.
No, you guys don't put out shitty music. So Warner Ortega, Trident Studios, does great work.
Yeah.
And he did your last record, right?
He's had a hand in all 4 of our records, yes, and in some capacity. He did entirely the first 2 and the 4th one. The 3rd one was split duties between Cody Fuentes, who's the drummer of Spite, and he does a lot of deathcore bands. Yeah. And one, Days into Darkness, our 2019 release, was Cody did my guitars and Costa, or my drums rather, and Costa's guitars. Yeah. And then, but the last will release, Veil of Shadows, wanted it entirely in these last 2 singles.
I think the last 2 records you guys put out have to be your strongest by far. Days in the Darkness is, I've been saying this for a couple of years now, it was probably one of the best modern thrash albums ever. And then you guys come back with Veil of Shadows, which is, I can't call it a thrash record. That's a fucking straight up metal record. It's got shades of like Black Dahlia Murder, Exodus Testament, it's like a mix of old schools and new school, and then you guys take the best of both varieties and came out with that. Why was it important for you guys to make a different record than your traditional thrash metal record on this last time around?
Well, as soon as we parted ways with my dad, we knew that we initially Costa would tailor songs to sound thrashy because who my dad was and his voice and all that kind of stuff. They he wanted to kind of give a nod to the thrash metal in that regard. But when he left and he went back into Exodus, we were like, who are our influences? Like, we don't have to make a thrash record. And at that time, we were still heavily influenced by thrash and still am to this day. But that's when we kind of really started branching off. So I would say it was like Days into Darkness would be the first kind of like level of that, where it still has like 60% thrash and it's like whatever, fill in the other 40%, whatever you want. And then from that progression, the Veil of Shadows was like 40% thrash, and then 60% in the other fill in the blank death metal, melodic, metalcore, deathcore, whatever the hell you want to call it. Fill in the blank with that. And then this new stuff, it's kind of like it took like another turn because it was like I think we were kind of going in this more melodic direction, and the new stuff's very much melodic, like kind of like what we did on Horns and Halos, but it's fast as fuck, and it has blast beats, and it's got like more death growls than ever before. So it's almost like what we did after Dawn of the New Centurion, we're kind of doing with Veil of Shadows as far as death metal, where it's like death metal has almost replaced the thrash, and the thrash is one of those minority elements in the 60%.
Basically, you guys evolve with every record, and it's cool because you guys are blossoming into your own thing. A lot of your fans these days don't even realize that Zetro was in the band. You know what I mean? And I almost consider it two different bands. How do you guys, when you guys separated yourself from your dad, and how important was it to make your own sound instead of we're just going to continue what we were doing with dad, but you guys stepped into your own, said, sorry, man, we love you, but we want to do this and continue it. How important was it for you guys to do that? And what's your dad think about the music that you guys are putting out?
Yeah, number one goal. It was our number one goal. I would say, aside from Cody getting his vocals acclimated to becoming a frontman, I would even say that was number two. I would say the number one goal was ultimately musically. We need to evolve, and we need to make us our own brand and make it be like, hey, did you know the singer of Exodus? You know Zetro is actually the singer of Hadrian? No way. Dude, he sang on their first two albums. Like, we wanted that kind of perception where it's like, that was like a fun fact afterwards. And like, there was times when we rebranded during the pandemic where we were talking about changing our name. I think I talked about that before on the show. One name that got thrown out there was Scarcity due to the timing and all that kind of weird stuff. But it was just kind of something that we progressed, and we're like, we got to make him proud, and he is proud, and he's heard our new shit, and he's super proud of what we've became. It wasn't just like Heroes of Origin or Dawn of the New Centurion 4 albums or 3 albums over. It was like everything is new and it's better, and my drumming, I feel like, is progressed so much this past year. I've really honed in on my craft and really focused on becoming a better drummer this last year, and I feel it shows on this EP. And everybody musically, from my brother to having Miguel back in the band, he was he had a part of the writing process, and
that's cool.
He played on it too.
Incredible musician.
Crazy.
So you guys had Kevin in the band, and then he stepped away. How natural was it for you to start playing with Miguel again? Was it like, oh, he's got to learn the songs, or was it step into the jam room and just like it was when he was in the band before?
Yeah, so when Kevin stepped away, Miguel was the first person we hit up. We were like, hey, shot in the dark, haven't talked to you in years. We know, not that we haven't talked in years, like we kept in touch on Twitch and stuff, but we reached out to him, and then he came down, and the first rehearsal, it was like, do you remember how to play Bloodstained Wings? He's like, yeah. I was like, do you remember how to play Suicide Run? Yeah. And he's like, dude, I really love that song, Ethereal Nightmare. I started learning that song. So we jammed on those 3, and it was like, this is rad. This is cool. It was like old times, and it was good to get another lead guitar player back in the band. We haven't had one in a few years, and respect to Kevin, but he actually didn't really play lead guitar. He only just did rhythm. Great rhythm player and great songwriter, but never really took to that. So to have another shredder alongside Costa has just been fucking killer, and it's made for a great
his stage presence. His stage presence is out of this world too. As you know, I saw you guys play at the Orange Peel in Asheville, North Carolina, down the road here. And the way that Miguel and Costa trade off on stage, it reminds me of like Hanneman and Kerry King, or Gary and Rick.
Right, exactly.
They're very what's the word I'm looking for? They complement each other very well.
Great guitar tandem. You don't hear about guitar tandems nowadays, do you?
No. That's like a thing of the past almost. And the cool thing is, between you and your brother and those two, you guys are very locked in sync. You could tell you guys are really close off the stage as well.
Yeah.
How important for you is it to have a good relationship with your bandmates?
For me at this stage, I think it's very important. And the relationship I have with my Hatred brothers is fucking the best. One is literally my brother. The other two I consider just as much as my family as my own blood. There's multiple ways to answer that, though. I mean, my situation's different. I mean, you have situations like Black Sabbath, where amazing live band, and as soon as they get off stage, they all go their separate ways, and that makes for that's not the most productive thing in the world. But as far as where we're at, grinding at the jungle floor like we are, and writing music and all that kind of stuff, it's the most important. You see tons of bands that just fall apart because somebody has an ego, or they're not brothers, or someone's not down, and tons of bands my level, and even bands a little bit bigger than me, and it sucks. It sucks for the fans, and it sucks for everyone involved. But if you don't have that, it's gonna be rough. It's how it is going on the road, man. It's fucking. It's a grind. It's fun. It's the most fun thing in the world, and it's the biggest fucking bitch in the world. It's this weird thing. It's this traveling circus that we do. It's fucking tramps, thieves, and fucking that kind of shit. So, and gypsies, right?
I used to have a sticker on my road case that said, "If touring was easy, you'd be called your mom." So people think, oh, it must be so exotic to be touring from town to town and location to location. I was like, yeah, it's a lot of
it can be.
Yeah, it can be. Pilot truck stops and Walmart parking lots, you know what I mean?
But mostly not.
Yeah, in my time, we did some cool things. I was in Chicago the night that the Chicago Cubs won the World Series.
Oh, I remember seeing. That's so fucking cool. That is a memory you'll have for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah. And these are things that, on your off days, it's like you want to sit in, Podunk, Illinois, or do you want to go hang out in Chicago? You know what I mean?
Right.
So you are one of two guys that I've known literally since y'all were kids. You and Alex Bent from Trivium.
Cool.
I literally booked his first show ever. and he was this, 4-foot tall kid with a big old afro. And I remember this kid walking up to Modesto Virtual with long ass hair and hanging out with his brother. How would you consider what you're doing now compared to those days? You have grown so much as a musician. What have you kept on to, though, as far as the way you play, the way you look at things, the way that, music flows through you? What are the similarities between now and Little Nick Souza that was playing in, Knuckle Duster?
Man, other than getting ripped off, learning the industries, the ins and outs, and fucking getting fucked over in different languages and all that kind of stuff, I would say I'm still that 11-year-old kid that fell in love with Slipknot, and I always remind myself of those fucking days of like sometimes when the industry gets hard, you just kind of want to give up sometimes, and you're like, why am I doing this? And then I remember back to the moment where in Ozfest 2004, I'm standing on stage for Slipknot. It's like that kid, that 11-year-old kid, that was it. That changed my life. And it was like, I won't stop until I get there. I got a kid myself, and I can easily bow out of this band, go get a union job, go make $100,000 a year, go fucking buy a house, be fat, be miserable, whatever, you know. Or I got this little chance, you know, and I'm very fortunate of, you know, who I am and who my dad is, and you know, on top of that, how much hard work I've put in on top of that, because I've seen bands go from Podum Garage to fucking arenas, or, you know, bit large theaters, and able to really have a hand and be a player in this industry. And I just honestly, yeah, I just think back to that 11-year-old kid that got inspired, that fell in love with Slipknot, and just, what would he do? Would he give up? He wouldn't give up. This is it. This is life, baby. This is a lifestyle. This ain't a phase, you know, as much as that's kind of overplayed. But yeah.
So, yeah. Well, you and your brother, Cody, are the most business-oriented musicians I've ever met my whole life. When it comes to the business aspect of your band, you guys do not fuck around at all.
No.
And that reminds me of somebody that I've met very well. When it comes to your father, Steve Zetro Souza is the most business aspected musician I've ever met in your whole life. When it's time to work, Zetro don't fuck around.
No.
He goes, he does his job, and then he goes and smokes weed on the bus. It's how important was that for you guys to carry on that from your pops? Because you guys are very similar to him when it comes to, we got sound check, gotta get done. We gotta go eat before we do anything. We gotta come in. We're gonna hang out at the merch booth. We're not gonna sit in the back. We're gonna do everything the right way. How old were you guys when you started learning stuff like that?
Yeah, from day one. He's always getting, you know, long talks with my dad about the industry, the ins and outs, and that's where I think we've kind of have been ahead of the curve. Is, you know, my dad necessarily hasn't really given us any handouts. Everything we've gotten, we've worked hard for and we've deserved. But there was knowledge and tutelage and just sitting around the couch watching The Simpsons or whatever, you know, asking him questions about you know, the music industry and the ins and outs, and learning all these kind of things. And just little minute details that it wasn't just 1 or 3 or 5 conversations. It was 5,000 conversations. So being able to dissect that, being able to physically watch him and bands like Testament and Machine Head and the way they operate from the inside out, not just hanging out backstage, googly eyed, you know, getting to meet people. It's like, how does the roadies operate? How's the bus operate? How's the trailer? Okay, so that's where the lights go. Oh, everything folds into each other, kind of that kind of stuff. And, you know, just growing up a really big sports fan, it's like being a player coach. You know, one day, you know, you play in the NFL, and then when you retire, one day you become a head coach. And it's a little, there's parallels, there's similarities in the music industry, more so the wrestling industry. But there is that aspect to where you're a player coach, like LeBron, like a Michael Jordan, like a Steph, like a Peyton Manning, you know, like all that kind of stuff where you can call audibles, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah. I always thought one of the coolest things about Zet was,
hold on, I'm listening. I gotta plug this thing in. I realized I didn't plug it in, but I'm hearing. Sorry.
No, that's cool. You can go do a Nick Souza. So the coolest thing about seeing Zet in public is whenever you see Zet, you look around and there's Nick Souza or there's Cody Souza. Whether it be hanging out in the city, doing a film thing for like a documentary, or, you know, I would always see you guys at like Mayhem or Ozfest or whatever. And, you know, you guys were like sponges when it came to, you know, paying attention to what's said, paying attention to what's done. How valuable is that information for you guys, especially not only as, you know, adults, but as musicians?
Yeah, no, that was very valuable. Getting to be exposed to all that stuff. And like, you know, a lot of that stuff is stuff that we've used for Hatriot today. And it's always good. We've always been very close and stuck together. And yeah, like you said, once my dad could take me around, it was me and my brother would go, or just me or just my brother. And then, me and my brother have always grown up very close. So it's like,
Mhm.
when we go to concerts, it's like me and my brother. And then we actually, I forgot who we were seeing. I think we were seeing Nevayan a couple months
Yeah.
ago. And they were, somebody came up to me and Cody and they're like, I think it's so cool. Like anytime we see the Hatriot Boys at a show, it's like, it's always you two, or, you guys roll with like a group. And it's like, yeah, that's the clique. And yeah, it's important.
Cool. So you guys just recently did your first national tour with the Kings of Thrash with Dave Jr. from Megadeth.
Yeah.
What kind of vibe did they put out to you? Like, this is the opening band, or were they very welcoming to you? And did they show you guys the ropes? This is your first tour. Come with us. Or were they shut off to you guys?
So they were nice. Like Dave was cool to us from day one. He shook our hand because who my dad is and stuff. And we, I've met Dave a few times prior, so he was nice to us. The guys were cool to us. It was like, okay, that we're kind of just the opening band, but it wasn't until about a week into the tour they started like kind of joking around with us, and then like we started getting their respect, their crew's respect, because they had brought out this old German tour manager named Frank, and he had worked with like Saxon, Halloween, he'd worked with the Megadeth, like he'd worked with a bunch of major bands, and he's a German guy. You know how the Germans are: be prompt, be on time, yes sir, no sir, no bullshit, all that kind of stuff. And like you had mentioned several minutes ago, you know how me and my brother run this ship. We run it very tight. And it was the third weekend, because it's a 5-week fucking tour, but the third week in, he's like, one day I'm going to be tour managing for you guys. He goes, the way you guys are every day on time with a smile on your face, you guys are great every night. He's like, you guys are professional, the merch, the everything. The way you guys break down immediately, you guys get off stage within 3 minutes. Like, he really commended us and said like and then we told him that this is our first like real national tour, and he was blown away. And he's like, he's been working with people that have been touring with years that don't have the etiquette we have, and we had several breakdowns on this tour, and we were never even late to a fucking sound check. And they gave us kudos. Recently, I was talking to the singer of Kings of Thrash, Chaz, and he said it was so fucking inspiring watching you guys do your own show, do your own fucking gear, do your own merch, drive yourselves, break down, come to fucking the venue the next day, and you guys all have a smile on your face, joking around, and you guys fucking kick ass every night on fucking 5 hours of sleep. And it's like, that's rock and roll, baby. So,
right.
To kind of answer your question, at first they were a little, hey guys, and then by the end they were our buddies. I love those guys. Dave is a great dude. Jeff, the whole band, Chaz, Fred, the whole crew, Randy, Frank, Matt. Love those guys. Shout out to Kings of Thrash, and shout out for giving us one of our first opportunities to do a real full-fledged tour.
So that might have been your first tour, but you guys have definitely been around and have the experience to say, hey, yeah, we can go on tour. So when you guys go out on tour, and you're doing what you guys do you try to you got to open for this band? Do you try to sell yourself to their fans, or do you just go out and do the Hatriot thing and say, you're either going to like us or you're not going to like us, but here we are? How important is it to you to keep the integrity of Hatriot when a lot of times you go out there and nobody knows who you are?
Yeah. So with this last tour with Dave Ellefson, I would say it's similar to an NFL playbook, where there's plays in the playbook, but let's tailor it to what team we're going to be facing. But there's still going to be our plays. So, we did our Hatriot thing. There was one. We made one change in the set. It was day 3. We have this real Black Dahlia death metal song called Verminous and Vile. We were playing it every night, and it was predominantly, folks that are all, the generation ahead of me, your generation and my dad's generation there. There was, my generation kids there too, by all means, but it was predominantly 40 and above. So it was cool.
Yeah.
People liked it, but it wasn't, anything too serious. So then we threw in Clemency, and that kind of has that has a really good beat to it. And they seem to like that song way more. They were way more receptive to Clemency than they were Verminous. So, yeah, I would say it kind of to 50-50 answer your question. Keep the integrity of Hatred, keep the intenseness, give him the Slayer treatment, but at the same time, figure out other ways to beat him up without having to be like, okay, we're gonna play a death metal song. It's like, let's beat him up with a sick ass breakdown or a hook, So there's other ways to attack. So yeah, just be strategic. That was another thing, my dad taught me. Just another little tidbit.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna turn you on to some new music now.
Yeah.
And this is a band from Guadalajara, Mexico. They're called Phantom. Ooh. This is gonna remind you of some of your uncles. This is very fast, very speed metal. You're gonna be like, this is not new music. This came out in '85, dude. The song is called Hold Fast. This is Phantom. You listen to it on Sounds from the Underground with my homie Nick Souza.
Yep.
Fuck yeah. That was Phantom with Hold Fast. They are from Guadalajara, Mexico. Do yourself a favor and go check them out. So, Mr. Souza, you are somebody that is, you're always on you got your ear to the ground when it comes to bands, and you're always checking shit out. Who are some bands that are out there in the Bay Area right now that you're like, oh man, people gotta know about these guys? You're muted, bro.
Sorry, I muted myself so I don't interrupt the music. But we gotta give our boys Frolic. We gotta talk about our boys
Mm-hmm.
Frolic. I mean, they absolutely kill it. We've acted like big brothers to them in the last 2 years. We've thrown them in a lot of shows of ours. Um,
They
and
just opened for Suicidal
Suicidal
Tendencies
and
yesterday,
Possessed.
right?
And it's crazy because we played with them at Bottom of the Hill at the beginning of 2022, and they were good. They were good. And we're like, okay, cool. He's a shred kind of guy, all that kind of stuff. And then I seen them like a few months later, and it was that they were a 3-piece, and I was like, damn, they got a lot better. And then they added this new guitar player, Lenny. I seen them about a year ago with Lenny for the first time, and he has just brought a whole new dynamic to the band, and they have just been taking the fucking Bay Area scene by storm. And I'm super proud of what they're doing. And I talked to Elijah, the drummer. I'm in a group chat with him and the drummer of Phantom Witch, Quentin.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, Phantom Witch is another one. Very reminiscent of.
They are
They're a
spectacular.
great fucking band, man. They're like Warbringer with a little bit of like death metal. I don't know, but they really fucking bring it. Their flavor of thrash is tasty, and I love me some Phantom Witch. Anytime they play live, I've been I really have become great friends with them these last few years. So we go out, we go check them out, and they support us. So yeah, we've been having a brotherhood around here with the thrash scene in that regard. But I would say top of my list, them. If you don't know, I mean, yeah, I guess they're not local, but definitely Drain from Santa Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
They've been fucking killing it. I've been really enjoying their
I'd
last.
consider Santa Cruz semi-local to you guys.
And we had played with them before. They really blew up a few years ago, so I would give a nod to them. They're really killing it. Yeah, off the top of my head, those are the couple bands I can think of that out here are really waving the flag strong. I hope we are. I hope people consider us doing that.
Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely go check out Frolic. Go check out Phantom Witch.
Cool. You, as I mentioned earlier, you guys got to do your first national tour. Well, what were some of the venues that you enjoyed playing that you'd like to go back to?
Oh man, favorite stop, Flint, Michigan, the Machine Shop.
Yes.
That was my favorite stop on the entire tour.
Me too.
Yeah, great staff, great venue, great sound, great lights, great
Good
crowd. Beer. We partied, we fucking smoked weed, drank a little beer. It was snowing. It was like 1 degree. It was fun. We had a blast. Yeah. I wouldn't think Flint, Michigan was one of the cool ones, but what was the other one? Kings of Clubs. You ever played the King of Clubs in Ohio? Columbus?
No.
King of Clubs. No. That was a fun one. The Varsity Theater. I got to play the Varsity Theater. The Jefferson Theater in North Carolina. I think North Carolina. And then the Starlight Theater in fucking New Jersey. Gramercy Ballroom. New York City. That was a bucket lister for me. Gramercy was a bucket lister for me.
You guys got to play Duff's in Brooklyn too, right?
No, we didn't play Duff's. No.
Oh, okay.
No, we might be hitting it soon, but no, we didn't get to play Duff's. Yeah.
So you mentioned Columbus, Ohio, and I can't go on without mentioning that the only place we ever got to play in Columbus, Ohio was the El Rosa Villa. Let me tell you how shitty that place was, man. There was fucking, you wipe your finger on the wall and there was 3 inches of fucking dirt on it. As you know, that was the place where Dimebag got shot.
Yeah.
And it was the scummiest bar I ever worked at in my whole life. You could tell right where homeboy walked in. The door is 5 feet from the stage. They still had bullet holes in the walls.
Wow.
And they had you go to a venue and there's the monitor rig right there. They still had the damage plan monitor tape on the wall from that night. And bro, that was the shittiest place I ever worked in my whole life. And we had to work there 3 times. And me, I'm setting up the gear and I go up to my DJ Chop and be like, all right, where do you want to be? I want to be where Dimebag got shot every time, dude. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there setting up his gear. I got tears rolling down my face and shit. But yeah,
didn't they tear that place down, Mike? Isn't it torn down?
Yeah. It's low income housing now.
Interesting.
So, but they still have the rock out in the front where everybody's spray painted on it. So that's kind of cool. So you've been doing this for basically your whole life. And if a kid were to walk up to you, that long-haired kid in a fucking Slipknot t-shirt, walk up to you and be like, how do I do this? Or even better yet, say a young Jack Souza walks up and says, Dad, how do I do this? What are the first things you're going to tell him?
Well, yeah, pick your instrument. Make sure you love your instrument. Make sure this is something you want to do. Make sure you're always loving it. If you don't love it, don't do it. Make sure the passion's there. If it's if you feel it and it's there, then I think your intuition will push you. But initially getting into it, pick whatever instrument you want. It's going to be very frustrating in the beginning. You're going to have to, there's a lot of trials and tribulations, but it's very rewarding after a while. As long as you stay true to yourself and this is really what you want to do, you'll find your way. Sure.
Cool. Does your son, is he musically inclined yet?
Yeah. He's, I got him playing my drums. I got a little electric drum set in the garage. Yeah. He'll come and jam with me. He's got a little like boombox, like a karaoke machine in his room. He'll go and sing and on that. So, and he loves music. He loves music. My lady Alexis, she comes from a music family. Not that anybody played instruments, but lovers of music, appreciators of music. So, both sides have that. And
cool,
we want to pass that on to him.
So you are very much a heavy metal motherfucker.
Yeah.
What does Nick Souza listen to when Nick Souza isn't being a heavy metal motherfucker?
I love Prince. I do listen to Prince. I gotta look at my Spotify. Let's see. I mean, I don't know if you consider like I do listen to like Fall Out Boy.
I get shit because I like their bass player. He's a bass player's bass player.
Yeah, for sure. No, he's great. He's great.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I know I have examples where it would be like, oh my god, you listen to that. I can't think. You got me on the spot right now, Mike. God damn it.
No, it's cool. You know me, I'm fucking as metal gets, but
yeah.
I got Boss Skaggs on the turntable right now.
Hey, that's all good. That's all good. Yeah, I mean, I was listening to like Skylar Grey. She did the WrestleMania song. She's got some good stuff. Of course, Dre. Dr. Dre, Eminem. That connection there. Love those artists. Not so metal. I mean, I love like Black Veil Brides. I love like bands like that. Chris Stapleton. My girlfriend's really showed me a lot of his stuff. He's fucking killer. And what he did with Nothing Else Matters. I don't know if you've checked out that cover. I have. Man, I just want to like drink whiskey on a fucking porch in the boonies, just fucking listening to that. You know,
Have
that's
you ever
great.
gotten the chance to see him live?
No. Alexis does want to take me. I've actually never been to a country concert.
You never been to a country concert? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, next time he comes around, I'll talk to the better half who loves you to death, and we'll make that happen. Because
that would,
dude,
that'd be
I
fucking
saw Stapleton at the Greek Theater in Berkeley, and oh my god, did it smell? It smelled fucking good too.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right, brother. I'm gonna play some more new music for you. And
Let's
then
go. I love fandom, by the way. I got very little bit of like Death Angel, a little bit of Power Trip, a little bit of Exodus, early Exodus and stuff.
Sadist is in there. You can tell a lot of Sadist.
The drums,
Cool. Well, this is another thrash metal band. We're gonna come back and talk about wrestling, but these guys are from Knoxville, Tennessee, and next time you guys come into this area, I would definitely suggest them to be on your local shows here. These guys are called Quintessent Mantis. Enjoy.
These iron bars
Innocent Mantis on Sounds from the Underground. Go check those guys out. They are based out in Knoxville, Tennessee, and like Mr. Nick Souza, they are touring the country. Go check them out in a town near you. All right.
Very cool. Who are they touring the country with, Mike?
They're doing the freshman legs, just going out and playing different towns. I don't know if they are out with a name, but I know they're out with lower name touring bands right now. Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, I dug that. That reminded me of like Lazarus AD meets like In Flames.
Dude, I got to see Lazarus AD at the Boardwalk in Sacramento opening for Death Angel once, and that band is killer, dude.
Yeah. They underrated band. They got swept under the rug for whatever reason.
Are they still together doing things?
No, they're not. The drummer passed away a few years ago.
Oh no, that's sad.
31 or 32 years old. Yeah.
That hurts.
Talented guy. Yeah, great band.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that we definitely have in common, and that has, definitely been a big part of our friendship over the years, is professional wrestling.
Fuck yeah, wrestling, baby.
Are you a AEW guy, or are you a WWE guy, or do you watch both?
I watch both. Both. Yeah. I watch. Obviously, WWE is the more well-oiled machine, more produced show. But AEW will have some great shit too. They'll have a fucking other. I think it was this last week or the week prior. I was like, man, that was a fucking great episode of Dynamite.
So I'll watch AEW TV. And I'll buy a pay-per-view or two. I've bought a few of them.
Same.
But I got Peacock, and I'll watch the WWE pay-per-views. I don't really watch SmackDown or Raw. I'm going to a WWE house show in a couple of weeks. I'm kind of stoked about it. But so a lot of people may not know, but you actually trained as a professional wrestler for a while at Kurt White's Big Time Wrestling there in the Bay Area. How was that experience for you, and how did training for wrestling help you grow as a musician?
Good question. Training there was absolutely phenomenal. At the time of my life, I met a lot of really great people. I met a lot of friends that I still talk to today. Mm-hmm. It was great training with getting to hang out with Kirk, but seeing Shane Cody. Legendary Bay Area wrestler.
Really nice guy too.
Very nice guy. Good dude. Getting no bullshit with him. Scotty Ringer was the head trainer. You might not know who he was, but he was married to Ender, who was a Samara. She wrestled in WWE a few times. She's really big around the indies. She was a trainer too there with Tony Vargas, who trains Boss now. He moved to whatever their faction's called, I think over there in Sacramento or Oakley or whatever. But my experience was great. I unfortunately had to choose between music and wrestling because the band really started picking up. So I had to go with the natural selection and go with music, which I don't regret. Not to say one day I may never ever get in the ring, because I've talked about it with some of my wrestling friends, and if the band can ever get to a point where I can maybe go out there and do a match or whatever, definitely not opposed to it. But as far as helping me with drumming, I saw how serious they took it. It's not that I didn't see musicians taking music seriously, because I always have my whole life, but just seeing how hard they train for that 7-minute spot, it's wild. And it's I was telling, my brother that, because he was kind of like, man, with Kings of Thrash, we only get 30 minutes. And I go, imagine these wrestlers. They live in Florida. They fly all the way to Seattle or North Carolina or Minnesota, and they have a minute spot real quick. They come in and interfere, and that's it. That was it. That was the action they got. So between being patient and really respecting the craft, how big or little it is, really taught me that. Yeah.
No, dude, I totally agree with you. I worked for a company in Modesto called Pro Wrestling Bushido, and one of my best friends is Daniel Torch, and he's a very well-known
I know
wrestler.
Daniel Torch.
Yeah, he out in NorCal. And just to see how seriously wrestling is taken by the people that do it. They're on the indie scene, you're not getting paid much.
No.
And I watched him wrestle at a festival in Modesto called X Fest.
Yeah.
And he wrestled Ricochet.
Wow.
Broke his leg. Finished the match with Ricochet. And then loaded the ring up, then went to the doctor. So,
yeah, it's that serious. It is that serious. And I will commend the wrestling industry for still having the code of respect and the code of ethics and the code of honor around there, where you show up to practice, no matter what, you shake everyone's hand. It doesn't matter who you are. I remember one time I was setting up the ring for a BTW event, and Eli Drake, who's now LA Knight, he was on the BTW card, and I'm a nobody. I'm a trainee setting up the fucking turnbuckles, getting them shits tight. And he comes right up to me and he goes, "Hey kid, how you doing? Eli Drake." I was like, "Oh, nice to meet you, Nick." And then shook my hand. Didn't have to do that, but that's the respect the wrestling industry commands, and I like that. And I think the metal industry's lost that a little bit. Yeah. But whatever.
Cool.
It is what it is.
All right. As we're winding down, so I'm going to play one more Hatred song, then we're going to come back and say our goodbyes. This one's called Clemency Denied, and this is my favorite Hatred song of all time. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so what it was is Mike, so the lady who had, I'll just be honest, blunt, lady who had murdered Mike Vanek's mother. Yeah. She tried to appeal. What was it again? She tried to.
She applied for clemency.
She applied for clemency, right?
Yeah.
And so I didn't even know that verbiage, and I had followed Mike. Mike's been a good friend of mine. So when I was working for the Oakland A's, I had wrote a letter, which I didn't realize. I'm glad last podcast you kind of touched my heart. I didn't realize how much that really meant. I thought it was just some bullshit thing. I was just using the A's logo for leverage. I didn't realize how really much leverage that did fucking work. Yeah. And and I appreciate the kind words, and I totally would do that any day of the week, twice on Sunday for you. But so when you posted that clemency denied, I was so happy for you, because there was no context. If you knew, you knew. So I knew, and I was very happy for you. Yeah. And so I ended up Googling what that meant, and that's when I realized what you meant. And I was like, that would be such a good name for a song. And so I took that, and I didn't write about your mother's story, but I took a completely different story. But the basis was I wanted to use the word clemency deny. And I remember I was sitting right here on my couch, and Alexis was coming out, and I was drinking beers, and I'm fucking just I was getting inspiration. You ever get that when you're writing lyrics and you just got inspiration up the ass? And I'm writing, she comes up to me, I was like, "Go away. I got inspiration up the ass." And I wrote it in like an hour. And I fucking sang it back to her, and I was like, "That's so good. That hook is so good." So one of my top 2 favorite lyric songs I've ever written.
That's cool. Well, it definitely means a lot to me. And you have always been one of my closest friends in the music industry. And to have one of my homies come out and basically say, "Dude, you inspired one of our songs," and they helped getting the band together. It's hella cool. All right, guys. We're gonna come back and say our goodbyes here in a second. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Clemency Denied by Hatred. You're listening to it on Sounds from the Underground on Pirate Flag Radio. Fuck yeah, that song fucking rules, dude. Um,
Fun one to play live. One of my favorite ones to play live.
it's a fun one to mosh to live. I knocked out some kid in North Carolina with that song, and I'm not
Good.
ashamed of it. All right, real quick, Nick, because we are coming to the end of this. What is next for Hatred, my friend?
Man,
That you can't announce.
world domination. Well, there's a reason we've been quiet for the last month, is we've just been waiting and waiting, but there will be several announcements here in the next probably week or two.
Cool.
Probably maybe coming to a town near you, maybe coming to a Spotify playlist near you. All good things, though. Check us out on HateRiotBand.com. We just relaunched a new merchandise website. So
Sick.
got,
I need to get a new shirt.
I got some new merch designs. Got some new patches too. Some sick fucking embroidered ones.
Sick.
Yeah. So
Cool.
Other than that, yeah,
where can people find Nicholas Souza on social media, or as me and Lunchbox call him, Sick News?
Sick news. Did Lunchbox tell you he gave me a Man of a Claw live?
No, I haven't talked to
out,
Lunchbox since then.
He brought out Mr. Sacco, and during Carnival of Execution, he pulled it out of his pants. He did it like Mick Foley did. So I'm like, all right, well, I gotta lean into it. I'm not gonna let you put it in my mouth. I'm drumming. It'll make me yak. But yeah, I leaned into it, and yeah, we had a good time with that. But you can find me on Instagram at Sick Newsa. The only reason I have a Facebook is because I'm in a band. If I didn't have a Facebook, or if I wasn't in a band, I probably wouldn't have a Facebook. I definitely don't check my messenger. Do not message me. You got my number? Text me, baby. Yeah. I don't. I fucking since day one, I've always fought messenger. I just got too many assholes asking me for free things. I'm not trying to be egotistical when I make those posts. It's the truth, and it's annoying. So I don't even check my messenger. And I'll it's sad because I'll miss like important message from people. And
no, man, if I need to get a hold of you, I just go to Instagram
or text. Yeah. I'm way faster with that. But yeah, check us out on Hatriot, all the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your shit. Yeah. Take a gander, follow us on Spotify, because you'll get our updates, because we may have new songs dropping soon and exclusive things. So there you go.
Cool. All right. Real quick before we go, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yep.
Give me 5 bands people need to know about.
5 bands people need to know about right now. I would say Frozen Soul. Fucking killing it. The last album produced by Mr. Matt Hafey is absolutely incredible.
Congrats on
Drain.
Real quick, Matt Hafey has been shouting you guys out like a motherfucker, and props for that, and congratulations on that.
Thanks, man. He's really like been cool to us, and anything we need, any advice we need, he's there for us. So I really appreciate that. But I'll say, Frozen Soul. Who's the other one? Drain is a new one. Go check out Frolic. Go check out Phantom Witch, and the last one. Go check out Doomsday. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I've heard of them, yes.
Go check out Doomsday. They're great.
Cool, man.
Crossover thrash band around here in the Bay Area. Yep.
Cool, man. Well, Nicholas Souza, thank you very much for your time once again.
Yeah, man. My pleasure.
Thanks
for having me.
Anything you and your family needs, you call Vanek, and I got you, bro. My name's Mike Vanek, and I suck. You can find me right here on Pirate Flag Radio. You may be hearing Nick Souza on Pirate Flag Radio soon. Please support Pirate Flag Radio. It's a 100% nonprofit, underground, and independent radio station. Go to tpublic.com and buy merch. You can get a onesie for your kid. You can get a coffee cup. You can get a sweater. It's getting cold, dude. Go support Pirate Flag Radio. Buy some merch. I'm Mike Vanek, and I suck. And as a wise man once said, keep one foot in the gutter, one fist in the goal.